Alright, so red, black, right. So this is a deck list that I have designed. So a lot of the decks we play here are viewer submitted deck lists, but this was a build around deck submission. Yes, definitely, Kendis. So I was just going to talk about that. So Rite of Belzenlok is a card that seems interesting. It's another way to get another powerful demon into play. So I'm playing this with some other demon top end here. So the submission for this deck list was play for Rite of Belzenlok. So we've got 4 copies of this card to see how it feels in this more aggressive shell. Most notably, while the 0/1 tokens that this creates don't deal damage with Judith, they do still get a power from Judith. So I've heard other people mention that tokens don't synergize with Judith, when in reality, they really kind of do. The fact that they get power and go wide and attack with Judith feels very, very reasonable. So without further ado, let's dive into... Yeah, they're also good with Fireblade Artist. So I do think when people submit the thing I try not to do when people give me a build around submission is I try not to just take the card that they've submitted and shove it into an existing shell where it's just going to be a bad extra. I do try to build around what the idea is to try and make it actually good as opposed to just an added bad card. Sometimes cards do just end up feeling like added bad cards during the wrap-up, but I do my best to try and make that not be the case. Today I sold my Legacy paper collection and invested enough to have all arena cards. Still have a fortune left. Don't have to attend paper events, feeling great. Awesome, Bert. Yeah, this standard format's really excellent, and I think if they base their new non-rotating format off of this standard, that has a bright future as well. Also, can we talk about how real decks have curves here for a moment, chat? This is just beautiful, right? This is just truly wonderful. That's just delicious. The chain animation is spectacle triggering. You know what's really sweet about Spawn, too? This looks like they're playing Esper, so it doesn't apply here if they have Kaya's Wrath, but Spawn is a 3-mana card that doesn't die to Ritual, which is awesome. Yeah, I think we're going to be set to be in a pretty good spot here. Do I play this? I think I just hold off. It feels like they have Absorb, right? I have like 4 points of power in play already. I think I'm just gonna attack here. I played this pre-combat because if they would have absorbed this, I would have waited. Of course, the downside here is now they can do this and spend a removal spell, and then I can't play the Spawn out of my hand, which feels bad. The Anti-Camper, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Let's go ahead and attack. Yikes. It's tough. I'm pretty confident you're not supposed to play around Settle the Wreckage in a lot of these spots, just because these decks are playing Kaya's Wrath as well. So, like, there's only so much room for sweepers. I think you lose way more percentage points on average trying to play around something like that than you will just playing into it. Correct. Spawn of Mayhem does get countered by Disdainful Stroke. That is correct. It could be an Esper Flash deck, that's true. It's very true. So this thing makes 2 1/1s twice, and then it makes a 6/6.
I am not going to sit this one out.
We're probably dead at this point. I guess if I draw Judith, I could be okay. How many dollar dues do I give you to bump a deck in the queue? For $1 or 100 bits or more, you can bump something in the queue. You can always find the deck queue on my website, or bit.ly/deck queue for short. Jeffrey's a rude dude, chat. He's not... He doesn't play very fair.
pace.
Incognito Burrito, I would encourage you to go check the replay on my YouTube channel. And I'm not saying that just to get you to go watch the YouTube videos, but I'm saying it because Jeff from 2 days ago has a better and more educated opinion on the deck than Jeff from right now. Well, I mean, both of these come back, so this really isn't a big deal. It kind of sucks that Chromium... It kind of sucks that Chromium is bigger than my demon, though. Current Jeff has lived a lot in between when him and past Jeff played that deck. So past Jeff's always gonna give you a better representation because he just played it.
We need to move quickly.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move along here. All right, so this is definitely a matchup where I want Theater of Horrors. I want all these copies of Duress. I don't think I want Eldest Reborn. Demon of Catastrophes is pretty mediocre, because even if this gets countered, I've still sacrificed a creature, which isn't great. We actually played both iterations, each of us. We played the submitted build for a little bit, and then we played mine and compared it to it. Yeah, Rites is definitely a little bit mediocre without Judith. It's very slow, right? We split the difference here. This is good enough with Judith, but without her, it's just slow. This is a card that'll be very good in, like, the mid-range, and probably even the aggressive matchup, honestly, just because it makes a lot of bodies. But against control, it's going to take too long to get set up a lot of the time, I think. You think you could have come to a different outcome by playing around Subtle Wreckage there? No, I don't think so. Again, and I also think at the end of the day, like I talked about there, is you're going to lose more games to playing around Subtle Wreckage. It goes back to that emotional response that we were talking about variance earlier, right? The games that you lose where you get blown out feel worse, so you remember them more than the games where you don't get blown out because you made them have it and they didn't. We've not played Pirate since RNA released, although it's getting to the top of the queue. Close-ish? Where's it at? Pirates is... it's still kind of far down. We'll probably get to Pirates either later this week or early next week. It's currently 28 in the queue. Yeah, control players like it when you play around Subtle Wreckage. That is correct. Someone asked about 24 lands. Maybe that's high? I don't know. I'm a big fan of being able to cast my spells. Are we gonna get through all the decks today? Yeah, I think so. If we stay solidly above 2K people, I'm gonna run late. Usually we run a little bit long after the front page days. I did not play at Indianapolis. It snowed all weekend, so I decided not to travel in the snow. That animation is so good. Wow, rude. How did you end up on the front page? Through my Twitch partner guy, my Twitch partner rep. Helped me get set up to get on the front page every Monday this month. So, we've actually been talking about Settle the Wreckage. So, Duress is a card that's much better against Settle the Wreckage than Drill Bit will ever be, right? Like, Drill Bit is a card that you want to play post-combat most of the time, and you really need to check for Settle pre-combat, right? Just like kind of how it goes. Speaking of how's it going, folks? Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everybody around the world. Pretty great to have 2,800 people in here this afternoon. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I stream full-time here on Twitch. I'm here playing Magic 30, 40, 50 hours a week. If you enjoy standard, constructed, best of 3 on Magic Arena, this is definitely the place for you. We're here doing this every morning and afternoon. As always, a big shout out to all my wonderful subscribers. I wouldn't be here day in and day out without their wonderful support. Past my subscribers, I also like to give a shout out to some of my wonderful sponsors. Harry's Razors would love to help you get that close, clean shave using code Jeff Hoagland at bit.ly/Shugel Shave. You can save $5 in your brand new starter kit with them. Remember, chat, just because you have a nice beard doesn't mean you need to have a neck beard. Hurly Burly Studio does professional Magic the Gathering altars. If you head on over to hurlyburlystudio.com, you can save 10% on your orders of border extensions as well as full art replacements that they do there. Cardsphere.com will love to help you turn your cards into other cards directed to the players. There's no haggling, and they just take a 1% fee off the top. And, of course, Inked Gaming would love to help you customize your gaming experience using code Jeff12. You can save 12% on custom playmats, mousepads, binders, and bags with them. You can upload your own custom artwork or choose from the wide range of custom artwork they have on their website. Let's head back on into the next match here with our red-black-white deck. Why did I concede? I conceded because I had 2 spells in my hand that I was never going to be able to cast. And my opponent had a Lyra in play against my aggro deck that only had 3 power on the board. So I wasn't 0% to win that game, but I was exceedingly low percentage chance to win that game. So rather than sitting there and grinding through a probably single-digit % chance to win, I moved on to the next one. Because that's the great thing about Magic Arena. When you get done playing one match, you get to jump right to the next. And weekend was great, Bedevil. We had some bad weather, so we weren't able to get over to the old house to get stuff cleaned out like we had hoped, but I had a good time at home with Christy and the kids. Alright, red-black mid-range, let's do it. Or green-black mid-range, let's do it. This is like the litmus. Is it copy? No, that's all me. I shield the sponsors extra good. Is there a world where we run Drill Bit and Duress? That's an interesting question. I don't know if I have room for that much. I don't know if I have room for that much in there. They're not that far apart. They're only like 15 minutes or so inside of town, but I really didn't feel like getting over and like shoveling a second driveway. So the longer this sits in play, the more cards it generates for us. Reassembling Skeleton plus Fireblade Artist are pretty reasonable together. I am currently using a standing desk. Using official Hoaglandia shovels, of course. Wouldn't have it any other way. So, I think I'm blocking here, plus returning this to play. I think we're probably too far behind here at this point. Yeah, MTGO is old and slow and ugly, and you have to deal with the secondary market if you want to play on it. And Magic Arena is fast and pretty and slick and has a more modern CCG economy. The upside to playing Magic Online is that it gives you the ability to play Magic's older non-rotating formats, like Modern and Legacy, whereas Magic Arena, you can only play Standard and Limited. Yeah. I think it's adorable that you think Magic Online doesn't leak memory. It's really cute. Reassembling Skeleton is probably worse than Orzhov Enforcer. Yeah, I think I'd believe you on that. I like that suggestion. I think I'm probably gonna change how we're configured after this. Wow, no demon animation. I'm seriously let down. if you're only planning to play limited and standard, the only thing, in my opinion, to draw you to Magic Online over Magic Arena is if you are looking for your video game to also enable you to gamble online. Magic Online allows you to, because it has a secondary market, allows you to cash your prizes out for real money, but at the same time, it also allows you to lose lots of real money if you aren't doing well in the event. So it's effectively online gambling. Reassembling Skeleton was like aggressively mediocre there. Norby, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Hey, Dambala, thank you for the brand new Prime support. Yeah, the drafts on Arena are different from the drafts on Magic Online. The drafts on Arena, rather than blaming the bots and calling the bots bad, I think it's probably more fair to compare drafting on Arena to more akin to like a different kind of sealed than what Magic Online is, where Magic Online emulates drafting in paper exactly. Walker is cheating, yeah, basically. Yeah, without removal for this might be in a little bit of trouble. Oh, they're gonna keep that on top and we're gonna be dead. Yikes. Who's excited for this to die to a Doomblade? I know I am. Whoa, we didn't get Doombladed. I'm so excited. Turculator, thanks for the 7 months. Welcome back. I appreciate it. Rude. Rude. I like how you activate the ability, he just like slides over from one hand to the other. It's like, come to this hand, please, please. Yeah, if you go into the settings gameplay options, there's an option to allow you to manually order your triggers. We're probably just dead here. They've like gained, if this Wild Growth Walker hadn't gained them so much, they'd be at 7 right now. All right, so let's try and reassemble here. What are we doing? And I like the idea of Enforcer. I think that card sounds really sweet. I've been really impressed with this card in other shells. I mean, we have 4 removal spells in our main deck. Just like, if anything, I want less removal and more ways to interact. Yeah, like I like Enforcer a lot too. I think this card's very good. I don't know that Priest is good enough. Is this a main board theater deck? That's a good question too. Maybe it's not. Let's like leave these Lava Coils in. Midnight Reaper. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good suggestion. Is Footlight Fiend better than Conquistador? Wonder if it is. Footlight Fiend's definitely a card I've been impressed with. Maybe just like go up to 10 1-drops. Is it a priest deck? I don't know. Like, especially cutting the skeletons, I don't think we're a priest deck. I guess priest is another card that's really good with Rite. Maybe just try a couple. Priest is like pseudo removal as well. Fungal makes a token to sacrifice. That's true. Maybe I'll split Moment of Craving with it. Wonder if the... I cut a 4-drop. 24 lands is probably high here, huh? I could probably cut a land. And cutting a land here is probably super reasonable, actually. Just, like, get Lava Coil, like, drag my curve down even more and, like, put a bunch of Lava Coils in the main. I kind of like that idea. That doesn't seem unreasonable. I think I like that. Let's give that a try. Because like while the Spawn of Mayhem might be the Spawn of Mayhem might look like a 4-mana spell, it's actually a 3-mana spell, right? Sarnak, just a friendly reminder to follow the stream rules when you make suggestions. You're a wonderful sub, so I didn't time you out, but again, be specific, be constructive, talk about why you think your card is better than the other one, what role it serves. Do I buy all these cards or are they free? Nope. I give Wizards of the Coast a giant pile of money every time there's a new set released. Yeah, so far, Spawn has literally just died every time we've cast it. It is yet to attack for 4 points of damage. Okay, Gruul. Maybe our cards will live against Gruul. That's exciting. That's exciting. The question is, can we race? Like, our cards aren't going to die right away, but can we actually race? Oh, did Spawn connect once? You're right. Spawn might have connected one time. Is purchasing cards cheaper in MTGO? It depends on what cards you want. So MTGO has a secondary market, which means the price of cards can be volatile depending on what's in demand. Whereas on Magic Arena, because it uses a crafting style system like other TCGs and CCGs use, the price of a mythic, regardless of what mythic it is always the same. Is the stream able to change the sub price to whatever they prefer? I'm not sure what you're asking. Chat and other streams are spreading untruths that Watson gives you and other streamers large amounts of gems to build your collections. Nah, I've got the receipts if you want them. I keep the receipts because I write the price off on my taxes at the end of the year, since I work as a 1099 contractor technically. Oh, you're asking, can a channel customize what its tiers cost? No. Subs are $5, $10, and $25 on every channel on Twitch. I think I'm just supposed to block like this. Correct. In fact, if you look at the MPL streamers, which this is actually an awkward part about how the MPL and advertising laws work, the MPL streamers have to write hashtag sponsored on literally every stream they do because WotC's giving them stuff. Oh, I blocked incorrectly there. I forgot their Dorkhead Trample. I should have put my 3-2 in front of their Trampler and put my 3-1 in front of their 2-2. MPL stands for Magic Premier League. It is the professional Magic the Gathering players that Wizards is employing to stream Magic the Gathering this year. It's a percentage cut you get for each sub the same. It is for me. When you hit a certain number of subs on Twitch, you get 70% of all sub money that you take in. So I see $3.50 of every sub, every $5 sub. Correct. If you are someone who produces content online, you are legally required to disclose when you are given something by a company, or you will possibly see jail time. Oh, this is awkward. So I have to block like this because I can't use a Judith trigger to finish this off. Yeah, so I could use these two Judith triggers to kill this now. And I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4 and go to 2 here. So I'm dead to Lightning Strike and Shock, but I know their last card is this. Hey, Za, thank you very much for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. All right, so we're almost dead on board. Judy's a good draw. Rites actually a pretty good draw. Both of these together, they're two great flavors that taste good together. I'm gonna go Judy into Gutterbones into tap land here. Thanks, Well, I appreciate the support. Thanks for helping keep me around. How many Zoidbergs are they through? They got one more crab in their deck. Hoping to dodge haste creatures at this point. Thanks everyone who popped over from Nox's channel, by the way. Hope you're having a good Monday and had a great weekend. Anything surprise you about the MTGO Standard Premier Finals? Yeah, that people play Standard on MTGO. Zing! Judith's last line of text is non-token. However, she gives all of your creatures +1 power. So Judith is still good with Rite, just not in the way that you're thinking of. The fact that Judith lets, like, my 2-1 trade with a 4-4 is so good. It's like, alright, block, trigger, kill your thing. That's good. Alright, so what am I doing here? This deals a damage to both of us every turn. Less good than initially assessed. Spawn kills us. We get one combat step with Spawn. We get a singleton combat step with Spawn. It does get bigger. So we need to set up for Spawn to be lethal, okay? Oh no! Oh, not Judy. Judy was all I had, opponent. You took everything from me. Oh, poor Judy. She was so young, chat. She was so young. She had so much to live for. I think we're done here. Too many crab farts. Too many crab farts. At least they're finally out, but like the fact that Gutterbones comes into play tapped here is just a beating. This gains me life, right? Nope, it just makes them sacrifice. Alright, well, I'm out of options. So Priest plus Spawn. So that's a good question. I blocked the Elf because Spawn of Mayhem, I didn't want to die to it. So now, because I left myself at 2, I can play Spawn out and not be dead. Oh no! Oh, that was my way to not die to Spawn, opponent. That was my way to not die to my Spawn of Mayhem. Whoops. What a tilt. Just like finally get to like not have Spawn die right away, and it just like does this to me. What a rude Magic the Gathering card. What sucks too is like if they hadn't ripped the other Lava Coil, we'd actually been in a pretty good spot here, right? I can't even coil our own Spawn. So I can sack this to this, but this trigger still resolves, chat. So both of these triggers go on the stack at the same time. So once this trigger, so like I can stack it like this. This is a good example for people that are new to Magic. So these both go on the stack. I resolve this one first and sacrifice this. This still kills me. This trigger still resolves. Removing the source of the trigger doesn't make the trigger leave the stack. So it was a good teachable moment there. So the problem with trying to put Phoenix in this deck is that while we have 8 dual lands, there's only 13 red in this deck. To cast Phoenix consistently, we need 15 plus sources of red, which means I'd have to cut black sources. I'm gonna cut the Midnight Reapers just so they're not great against another aggressive deck. Bring in Moment of Craving. Yeah. How do you math that? That's a good question. If you're interested in learning about mana math, I'd recommend this article here on Channel Fireball by Frank Karsten. Breaks down the numbers pretty cleanly. This hand potentially goes like 2, 3, 4, which is great. Oh, that's a good thing to point out. I lost that game because I blocked poorly earlier on an earlier turn and took 1 extra damage. So if I'd have been 1 point higher, we actually would have won that game. That's a great thing to point out and catch. Like, and that's one of the things that makes Magic such a difficult game to get better at, is like you look at a game like that and you feel unlucky because they drew 2 Lava Coils in a row, when in reality I made a decision on like turn 3 or 4 that eventually snowballed into me losing the game. You can just ban accounts like that, Larinex. People like that aren't welcome here. I wonder if I'm supposed to play Rite first here. I feel like that could go either way. Yeah, this card's very good. This is a standard playable card that you're going to see in a lot of these black mid-range decks, I think. The only reason we don't see it in the Sultai and green-black decks is because their 2-drop slot is really clogged up in the face of their Wild Growth Walker package, but I think in decks that aren't jamming the Explorer package, this card's going to be really good. Thanks, Miles House, and I know that at the end of the day. Block and mute function on social media are great. A lot of people have really depressing lives that like the best thing they can do with their time is like harass people they've never met on the internet. Super excited for Gate Lich. I changed the mana some after matches, but it's a sweet deck. We're probably dead here. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to do. Let's try one more with this, but I'm not sure if this direction was the right direction to take this. It feels like, right, if in general the card quality in this deck feels like it's probably a little bit too low, worse than the more aggressive black-red decks that I've played in the past. And I think the Rite of Belzenlok feels like it's a card that's like not quite aggressive in our deck that's trying to be aggressive, and like Judith giving the tokens power doesn't really make up for it efficiently. Yeah, like, maybe Rite is better served in a mid-range or control deck if that's where you want to go, but then you look back on, like, the thing you need to think about is, like, Rite is, like, kind of this card that, like, generates a threat, but then you compare Rite to, like, the other threats that exist in the format. It's like, well, why would you play Rite when you could just play, like, what's the 6/6 demon for 5, the Surveil demon? I'm blanking on his name, but, like, why play that card? Why play that card instead? Traditional play is what Arena classifies best of 3 Magic as, so we get to play with sideboards in between Game 1 and Game 2. Yeah, I think that's probably the case. Doom Whisperer, yeah, that's the one. I think at the end of the day, this card just ends up getting outclassed by other similar finishers that you could play in decks like this. Pretty sure this deck is garbage. We're gonna play one more match with it though. If you want a red-black aggro deck that's competitive, be sure to check out my website. There's a Rakdos or red-black aggro deck up there that you can find. It's a little bit more burn-based. Can someone tell me why Gutterbones is a good card? Well, one, I'm not 100% sure Gutterbones is a good card in this format. The idea is that it's a recursive, aggressive card that can come back again and again, but this format's so mid-rangey that a 2/1 body just gets outclassed in a lot of the matchups. It makes it a little bit less appealing. That's true, too. There's a lot of meaningful ways to interact with enchantments in this format, which makes Rite a little bit worse as well. Definitely agree with that assessment. Poor Judy. We're gonna have a Judy Rites curve, chat. It's gonna be good. So, Gutterbones is obviously worse than Reassembling Skeleton if you're going to be sacrificing it every turn, but it's better than Reassembling Skeleton if you're going to actually be, like, applying pressure to your opponent. So, like, a lot of, like most things in Magic, these aren't strictly better, strictly worse comparisons. The answer is, it depends, and this card's better than some in some situations and worse than that card in others. We've not played any Sword Point Diplomacy burn list since the new set release. We played one last season and it felt pretty mediocre. I finally managed to sell enough stolen office supplies on the back market to afford bits. I'd be happy to add those to Abzan Nights. In the future, I wouldn't write stuff like that in Twitch. So what you're saying is you did take their stapler. Thoughts on SCG? I'm actually going to have an article on Cool Stuffing tomorrow talking about the results from the SCG event and what I thought about it. And I see you've got a sub there next to your name, Zoff. If you want a preview of that article that's got some typos and no formatting in it, you can find that in my subs Discord now. Give a little rough draft preview for my subs on there. I agree, Ghost. Details on how to get into the Discord can be found here. You'll need to use a desktop computer to do it, most notably. Are we dead yet? Feels like we're pretty close to dead. God, this is just like a 2-mana 6/6, 2-mana 5/5. A Zip, thanks for the $5 tip. I appreciate it. Can you take 20 seconds to talk about Azurius aggro and standard now? Thinking about changing my Boros weenie because I like cards like Chart of Course and Deputy of Detentions. Zip, you should take a look at. We actually played a Jeskai aggro deck on stream last week, and it was really awesome. We had Deputy of Detention, Dovin, and Heroic Reinforcements. Because I do think not playing Heroic Reinforcements is kind of silly. That card steals a lot of games. The Gates deck was actually really good. I was super impressed with how powerful it felt. Well, the devil gets to come in. Gate Lich is amazing in this meta. I don't believe you, but we're gonna find out together. The Dovin Heroic curve is awesome. I agree. What kind of matchup does Theaters of Horrors come in for? Theater of Horrors is a card that helps you generate card advantage, which is generally the type of effect your aggressive deck wants in mid-range and controlling matchups. One of the worst sentiments I hate among competitive Magic players is when they talk about how they deserve something that didn't happen, like, oh, I should have won that match. They were so unlucky. Or, oh, I should have won that match if I just hadn't made this mistake. It's like, well, maybe you shouldn't have won that match because you made a mistake. Like, nobody deserves to ever win a match of Magic. You want to win a match of Magic? Earn it. Don't act entitled. Yeah, I mean, the Sultai mid-range deck that's good right now is basically just the natural continuation of green-black mid-range from last season, right? Like, the mana got better, so it's easier to splash a third color, and Grixis just, like, gives you another angle of attack in the green-black deck. Playing Team Constructed this weekend in Baltimore, what would you recommend for an aggro deck? I think White Weenie aggro is still very good. If you don't want to go full 3-color, I think I'd play if you don't want to add blue cards, I would play card for card the white splash red deck I played last season. Although I do think the Jeskai aggro with Dovin, counterspells, and heroic reinforcements is good. Gorks, I'd encourage you to Google it because I'd really prefer not to talk about him on stream. Just not a good person, and if you Google it, you'll find out why very quickly. Built your Jeskai list, and it's a lot of fun, but a lot of the time when I'm in grindy matchup like Ogari or Sultai, they hammer me with recursion and just wait for me to build out. Any advice? Yeah, I'd recommend playing more threats. If you feel like you're running out of threats, you either need to reprioritize how you're protecting your threats, or add more to your deck for post-board. Like, are you boarding in, like, your Crackling Drakes and stuff like that? It's not that I want to be quiet about it, Ark. It's just that we've already talked about it today, and there's a huge thread about it on my Twitter. So I've just, like, been dealing with it for, like, the last 48 hours. Like, dealing with crappy people who want to defend people like that. And I just, like, have had enough. Just need, like, an afternoon off from dealing with it some more. How do you deck build when you're starting in this game? You copy deck lists from people who have been successful before you. Beg, borrow, steal. The best way to get better at deck building is to learn from people who have come before you and have more experience. Oh, there wasn't a merch alert. Well, thanks for checking out the merch, Kason. I need to write that down. I never actually wrote it down the other day, I don't think. All right, it's written down now. We'll do it. We'll check it afterwards. I have no idea. Oh, well, the pins definitely won't pop up. If the merch alerts do exist, they'll only be for the Streamlabs stuff. The pins, stickers, and tokens, we all sell personally through a storefront. All right, Priest is actually pretty good here. Rick's Reveler could be interesting. I don't know. I just feel like the total power level of what this deck is doing just, like, isn't quite appropriate. I feel like the Rites probably just comes up a little bit short in general. I think there isn't a meaningful reason to not play a third color in your Dimir deck. I think Rick's Reveler is a good card, but I just don't think this shell's probably very good that I'm playing right now. No, the only alerts that should pop up on stream are the ones through Streamlabs, which are the t-shirts and the coffee mugs, I believe. The stuff through Inked Gaming and the Shopify or whatever my tokens and stuff are handled through does not integrate with Twitch. If you check out the Harry's Razor sponsor, they have a notification that'll pop up, though. Their stuff is good. The sponsor integration is like next level. Like this is the future of advertising. The ink stuff is fantastic, by the way. All right, so what am I doing here? Wait, do I get to kill both their drinks here? No, it's just 2 triggers, right? You get to kill one, though. I have a lot of sponsor products in my house, to be fair. I've actually got a Racer chair coming in the mail. I'm excited for that. I'm not a huge fan of this one I have now. The missed attack that people are referring to with Gutterbones wasn't a free attack. I wouldn't have been able to replay Gutterbones that turn, which would have put me on a different timeline for actually ending the game. Double sleeve your cards. The BCW actually just came out with a new formula for their sleeves, which is supposed to... what's it called? Which is supposed to, they're supposed to fit double sleeves better, I believe. Hey, Support Animal, thanks for letting me know that you hung out through the front page raid this morning. I appreciate you sticking around and dropping a comment in chat. Hope you're having a good Monday. Oh, I could sack the old, this is why the specifics important. You're right, I could sack the old... I could sack the new Judith and then still attack with the old one, right? This wasn't a free attack here. They just eat this and then I can't get this back because I didn't deal any damage to them this turn. Oh, you're saying I could have attacked with both of these. They have to block here. But then we end up dying, right? They go to 1, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm dead this turn. We could have won this game by playing the Judith out pre-combat the turn before, though. You're right. Yeah, I think the wrap here is 1, this card's not good in an aggro deck because it's just too slow to get a 6/6. Two, even outside an aggro deck, I think the payoff that this card is working for and the amount of time it takes to get there just isn't good enough in relation to the other payoffs of similar mana you can get in the format. So I think this ended up feeling much worse than the straight red-black burn-based aggro deck that was on my website. And I wasn't really impressed with Rite in it either, and I don't think I'd really want to look at more shells for this card. Alright, moving right along here. Let's load on up Esper Midrange here from Wyatt Darby at the SCG Open. Let's get it on the Stream Decker so I can import it into my thing. All right. I'm gonna miss this whole set. Can I get a timeout for the road? Yeah, hold on, Demir. Have a good one.